Lawrence David are a trailer and bodybuilding manufacturer, building custom vehicles to whatever a customer wants really. We can fit pretty much anything onto a job as long as it's within the legal limits. So the speed and accuracy of what we're building is integral to how we work. Without having accurate models of what's going to be built on the shop floor means that we induce delays. So using SOLIDWORks, we can double check things all line up. And using the FEA side of it, we can do the double checks just to make sure that what we are designing means that when it's going down the roads, it doesn't fall apart. Our current system is very old. It was originally designed in about 1970. It is very efficient at what it does, but it does mean that we're relying on things being updated manually and not being able to check what it's producing for the paperwork of the guys on the shop floor, because there's no visual representation of what they're actually building, except for some loose drawings that are more representations of certain stages rather than the actual part of what they're going to do. DriveWorks is going to replace it completely, and it will mean that we have accurate job-specific drawings that guys on the shop floor can reference and make sure that everything actually lines up before it gets to them to reduce some of the errors that we see. Our current system is currently supported by one person in the UK, and he eventually is going to want to retire. So that is our current driving force. That, and we're moving ERP system from our current one to SAP. So as part of the changeover, it made sense at this point to, as part of DriveWorks, change the part numbering, the design process, the production flow process, and sort of incorporate it all into one giant move across into a new system. Because the way that our current system works is a flat BOM. It doesn't necessarily tie in nicely with a treed BOM system that is required in SAP. Whereas DriveWorks can be manipulated to do what we need it to do, so that things can be uploaded and moved into the SAP system for the ERP runs. DriveWorks is really our only choice for what we want to do, to automate the design process and tie it directly into SOLIDWORks and into their PDM system, being able to edit the end models so that it can produce what we'd class as a generic one, and then we can customize it and repart number it if needs be to suit whatever customer requirements are there, to enable us to keep the flexibility we have in our current system, but mean that we can produce more accurate drawings and designs for the shop floor.
So we currently have 30+ years of design process that has evolved quite organically. We haven't really assessed that for a long time, and this is a good clean break now to pick out the parts of the automation that we prefer and hopefully put into DriveWorks. 30+ years of organic change in the design of the product has been difficult to capture. We do have a history, but one of the main benefits of the DriveWorks project, we can see and build rules in real time and immediately see if they succeed. If there's an error, there are error drilling tools to point us in the right direction. Before we considered DriveWorks, our workflows were quite basic. They did the job. Now we have many automation tasks that DriveWorks can handle. We have given ourselves a bit more of a complex workflow without putting a demand onto the engineers.
So initially, we were hoping to use consultancy in two ways. One, to help our sort of day-to-day development of the project, and to sort of offload some of the rule implementation and design work. Due to the nature of our business and what we've designed, we'd have to have trained somebody up to actually do the design work to make sure it's actually usable for the guys on the shop floor. So instead, we swapped to a weekly meeting with a consultant, our consultant's Paul, and he's helped us along the way setting up DriveWorks and making sure we've got all the models to a state that are easily repeatable within the software. So the setup of DriveWorks and how it's done using the rules bases is very similar to how our current system works. And it's potentially a little bit more than we thought there may be, but how it goes together makes much more sense after we've been using it for a period of time. And you can see how you can add in more flexibility into the rules and increase the complexity over time if you need to.
Currently, The investment and time taken away from the general day-to-day has been quite large, but once we've finished, we believe that we will receive that time back. We can run many different jobs in tandem. We will see the physical output from our decisions much sooner, and it helps with training as well. We can get new starters to run very simple jobs and see what they produce, and hopefully that should help with their understanding. You can use those models then to point out anything that they may need to be aware of. It's also good for training in more senior members of the department because you don't always run the same jobs over and over. You may have a different product type that you've not built for a couple of years. To see that model then jogs the memory. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a CRM system out of the box that covered everything that we wanted. By making a CRM system within a DriveWorks product, we could tailor it specifically to our builds. Anything that is key within the haulage industry in particular, we could focus on without having to spend a lot of time searching. If we spent the time searching, focusing on the points that we want, then we're happier to do that. Having the ability to front load our salesmen with information will be a massive benefit to the engineering team. A large proportion of our time is currently answering questions from customers. Because they're reading text, they often have a misunderstanding of what's being offered. If there is a model or pictures of old jobs within the CRM system, they have a clear understanding of what we can offer. Engineering-wise, our jobs don't take too long. It's the in-between processes between departments. We are quite busy in each department, and that extends the time. We can run a job within 3 days if it's a standard job. We're looking to reduce that down to a day by automating those internal processes. One of the biggest demands was from our new ERP system. They require multi-level bombs with routing. This is a process we have not yet achieved using our old system, but with DriveWorks, we are able to cherry pick the level of assembly that we are sending over to the ERP system. With each product being driven as its own project, we are able to run the configuration system live and still have new projects in development. These could then be tested to the fullest extent and rolled out almost immediately. We're hoping for a more efficient design and engineering process and passing that on to the customer with models to remove any ambiguity, allowing us to convert more quotes into contracts. Implementing DriveWorks involves many departments in the business. You need their buy-in. I would say set out a plan, stick to that plan, and make sure you consistently put in the hours to see any benefit.